Hey everybody, Dan McCleskey here with Spiritually Out of the Closet. I'm here with intuitive spiritual teacher Amy Santori, and she was voted best in Boulder since 2018, so 3 years in a row. And we're really lucky to have her here today. So the premise of today and what we want to talk about is tarot reading. Just is it real? So we've got probably the best person you could talk to here to help us walk through that a little bit. So we're going to go through her process a little bit. We're going to do a reading, and then we're going to talk to each other a little bit about just some Q&A and about the feeling of tarot reading, the intuitive part, just kind of digging a little bit deeper to what makes Amy Amy. So let's go ahead and get started here with a quick reading for me, and we'll just go from there. So let's get into it.
Okay, so I should explain.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
I think it's just awesome what you're doing. I just love
you.
that you're venturing into all this unknown territory. And I'm from the corporate world, so if you would have told me that I'd be doing this years later, I would be very skeptical, and I probably would have laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that I would have, no. So what I do with people basically when they come to me for a reading is sometimes they don't even know, they just feel strongly drawn. Like I just talked to actually a singer-songwriter yesterday. She was so funny because she gets on the phone, she goes, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity. She was so excited. And then I find out she's gotten like platinum albums and all this stuff, and I'm like,
wow.
You like were starstruck by me.
Oh.
But so if people are drawn to me, they just come to me and they say, you know, I don't even know what I need or whatever. And so I feel it out intuitively. I've learned how to talk to my guides, and to me, God is a group of deities. It's the energy that even it makes us alive and animated. So I've been
chills with that one. Yes.
I've been enlightened before, so I know what it is to be our full potential, and I can talk to spirit, if you want to say it that way, or I talk to God. And I just, like when I first started this, I was a little intimidated with someone sitting there asking me for answers. I was like, I don't have all the answers. Like, what if I don't know the answer?
Right.
And then I just told myself, well, whoever sits before me, they're supposed to be there. And whatever images I get, whatever words I get, whatever comes to me, then I'll just share it with them. And so I'm just going to be a conduit for what Spirit wants to say to them. And that just made it really simple. I don't have to have the answers. I just tell them what Spirit says.
I love that. You know, it's funny. I met with a woman in Ireland that was very intuitive and did tarot card reading. And one of the ways that she explained that she felt it was like almost like a drop. And when she felt the drop coming in, it just felt knowledgeable, and she was able to speak to the knowledge that was coming in. And I'm noticing it's different for everybody. And so what would you say, how would you say you interpret what's coming in for you? Because it's got to be different for everybody.
Here's what I was going to say, and it's along those lines that the singer that had talked to me that I was talking about, the point of it was that she said that she had woken up with Amy Santori in her head, and she was just like, who is this? She asked her husband, like, do you know who this is? Like, I'm getting this name over and over repeatedly. She looked me up on YouTube, and she was like, I think I subscribed to her like a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, it had come back to her. So that's exactly how it works.
Right.
Is we get these, okay, so I learned Qigong first. That's kind of how I learned to read the energy. And Qigong is, it's dealing with energy, but you basically can scan somebody's system. You imagine them being kind of invisible, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then you just kind of learn to relax. Do you know those pictures that you look at? You got to like tune your eyes out to see everything.
Oh, yes, the 3D.
It's like, oh, there's a castle in there.
Right,
oh,
yes.
There's a, you know. And so it's kind of like that. You just have to relax your mind and relax. And, you know, some psychics that brag, they're, oh, I see this person standing in there, la, 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 la. And the other person's going, holy crap, you can see all of that? Like, I never see anything like that. And it's not like you think. It's much more subtle.
Okay.
And that's what once I realized how subtle it was, that's when the subtle things started to stand out better. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So you
learned
how to
it's
focus.
Really subtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then once you've kind of fine tune and you're able to kind of pay attention to the subtleties, then you see a lot more, and then it is more obvious.
Yeah.
So, but we're not used to living in that dimension, or we're not used to thinking that way. So it's, it's really interesting.
Wow.
So I'll see things like I'll scan somebody's, when I was doing that, learning the Qigong, I would scan and I'd see green or I'd see red or blue. And then I basically just asked my guides, I said, could you guys just explain to me what each color means? And so then I would start to work with people, and then when I would find the blue, I'd see that they're really controlling. And so then I would say, you might want to work on just kind of loosening up about life and letting, trusting life a bit and this kind of thing. And then I'd be like, oh, I know what blue is now. Mm-hmm. And then I'd be, okay, I see red. And then we'd get it. And so that's how I learned the colors. And then they started showing me things like a baseball means like really being in the moment, because Babe Ruth, the ball would come to him and he could see the stitches of the ball.
Yes.
Like he was so in tune. So, so basically that's how it happened. And then there came a time when I would hear things, and it started to just evolve when I started doing these readings. And then all of a sudden it was like all of these guides started talking to me, and I could hear all these different ideas. And I said, okay guys, could you please funnel down one idea you all agree with? That's what I want to hear. Wow, so you have to work with them and ask them how to talk to you and how to bring it through that's best for you to understand and for the other person to understand. So it's really working as a team with spirit. It's really incredible how it evolves through time too as you get better.
I have so many questions now. You've opened up so many doors
and
right
you were talking about tarot cards. Tarot cards are just a little piece of it.
Right, and that's where a lot of this is coming to also is tarot card reading real? And we're going to dig into that a little bit more here, I'm sure, but there's so much more behind it. And that's what we're kind of digging into now. And so you've said a few things that just spur questions in my head. And one is, okay, so when you learned how to focus and you started understanding how to interpret what was coming in, you realized there was more than one person communicating with you or spirit communicating with you. Now, would you call that...
Only because, like in a normal conversation, how they talk on top of each other, that's what it was like.
Gotcha.
I would start to listen to something, and then something else would jump in and interrupt, and I'd be like, well, that's I can't keep track of it all.
Where do I start with these questions? Gosh, there's so many. Okay, so do you have to be in a certain state of mind to be able to listen and hear these things? Because I know some folks have to be in that in-between state, either a meditative state. I'm able to hear things when I'm in that in-between sleep, that sleep paralysis type of moment. Yeah. I can really focus at that point. Does this always come at you, or when do you...
No, actually. No, it's really funny because some of my friends have had to be like, could you tune into this for me? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So for me, I think that it's always there because... that's just the way that spirit works. It's like you may be doing normal every day. It's like it becomes so synchronistic. Your whole life means something. Every little thing.
Right.
So even when I'm not in tune and I'm not paying attention for what the answer is or whatever, it's still coming out of my mouth constantly. And even in the readings, when I say something and something slips up, that was not a mistake either. Okay. All of it is meant to be, and it's incredible how everything ties in together. So I may have a reading with somebody. And they say something like, my favorite number is 8, and I've always seen 8, and 8 means so much to me. And then the next person will come in and they'll say, I don't know how many animals I'll have ultimately. And then I'll be like, well, maybe 8. It all works together like that.
Right.
And it ends up being right.
Mm-hmm.
You learn just to trust it and go with it, and everybody comes back to you saying, "Oh my God, I ended up having 8 animals."
Right.
So it's like they are just. It's very magical the way that it all starts to work very synchronistically. And though, when somebody wants a clear answer and they're saying, "Well, could you tune into it for me?" It doesn't take me being in any kind of a state or anything. I just feel into it. Basically, I just kind of. It's just a matter of being aware of something. It's what it's like. It's like, in the background you may have music playing or something, and you're not noticing it because you're in this conversation with somebody,
right.
And you're tuning it out completely,
mm-hmm.
But the song is always playing, and then somebody might say, "Hey, do you hear that song on the radio? That's that one song." And then you go, "Oh, yeah, there it is."
So what I'm picking up on then is that the music's always playing, but you choose when to kind of focus and tune into it.
Yeah, but it's interactive with me too.
Cool.
And it's interactive. Yeah. Okay, so if you were giving a reading to me right now, they would
mm-hmm.
be tapping into your information that your whole entire history. They know everything.
Right.
They know everything you've always done from when you were a little baby, all your experiences all the way up. what you're really good at, what you're not so good at, and they will show you an image, like a memory of it, even to remind you, bring it to mind. So you have to be paying attention to what comes to your mind and know that that's not just you remembering a memory. You're realizing that that is something that they want you to bring up to the person that you're talking to.
Oh, so you're using your own personal experiences that they're
Everything.
bringing you to now help this
Everything.
person.
You may even be talking to someone and your eye drifts over to a plant. That's the answer to, that helps you answer the question.
Wow.
So if you're asking me something and you're like, I don't know, curly or straight, and I look over and my plant is curly, which it is,
Right.
then I would say curly.
Yeah.
So you can interplay with everything in your environment. Your eyes are drawn to just the right thing. If I lose an item, I'll say, I wonder where that is, and then boom, my head goes right to it. Or I see a drawer opening in my mind's eye, and I go, oh, it's in that drawer.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's really kind of fun, yeah.
So what do you call, is this a team for you? Is it usually the same spirits that you speak with? Is it kind of whoever's they're working with you?
It's
or?
really funny because I have like a divine counsel that works with me. And she in my higher self, I call her Celeste. She's like the ambassador, if you will. But there's so many more. Like, I mean, there are leprechauns, there are unicorns, there are fairies, there are like every mystical creature you can possibly imagine. Anything that you can imagine out there is actually real. If you can, that's hard to fathom too. But everything out there, at least in the energetic realm, is real.
Right. I think even home, right? So I think home's a very imaginative place. It's real, but we may not have it here in this physical plane that we're in right now, but it exists somewhere. In my mind. So we bring it with us. A lot of our designs, our art, the things we talk about, they may not exist here, but you're bringing it with you. And some of us, a lot of artists, I would say too, that create things are bringing just little pieces of home here with them. Yeah. So that's why it's so amazing, right?
Yeah.
So
and everything essentially exists in our minds anyway, and everything is a placebo. So as long as something is positive, whatever you're believing or thinking is positive, then it's going to benefit you somehow. If it's negative, it's going to make you afraid and make you suffer. So you just have to pick and choose. And that's one of the things about me as well, is I try to really empower people. I try to help them to feel so many people will say, oh my gosh, that's totally what I was thinking. You just confirmed it for me. Okay, right. So how do you develop your own intuition to become certain about your own, intuitive hits in a way?
Right. Wow. Yeah, sorry. Everything you're saying is giving me so many more questions. So, wow. Okay. Now, this is something for me too, because I've been studying tarot card reading like crazy lately. So probably, 15 to 30 videos a day that I'm watching. So a lot of online YouTube folks. So seeing a lot of good stuff, seeing a lot of after you see it enough, you start tuning in. And so what I'm noticing, at least in the YouTube world, so not everywhere, but there is an energy. There's an overall, I think, energy, and a lot of these folks know how to tune into it. So you will see a lot of same things on different channels when you're looking at tarot card readers, and you'll see a lot of the same stuff during different times. So you'll see the whole kind of community sway a different way, and they're picking up the same things for the same signs.
Yes, I've seen the same thing.
It's so cool.
I'll go to watch another reading of another reader, and I'm like, wow, she's picking up on the same. Like right now, people are, you should probably know this too, people are being attacked in their dreams by the dark side.
Oh, wow, okay.
So here's the key.
Okay.
Because you were talking about sleep paralysis in the videos that I watched of yours. Okay, so the thing is, the dark side for years has been trying to kind of program us in our sleep, and they know what's subconsciously what we're afraid of. So they try to go in there and, let's tempt them with this. Like, it could be a temptation, it could be a fear, it could be your worst fear, it could be something that leaves you paralyzed and shaking, or like, oh God, it'd be terrible if that happened. Whatever that is, they will start to come into your dream, and they will try to do those things to you to see if you accept it and see if you're okay with it, if you eventually surrender to it. Right. And if you do it in your dream, you'll do it in real life. Okay. So they've almost been trying to program us for a while to accept what they want to do, or see if we'll accept what they do.
Right.
So it's really kind of creepy and crazy, but what you need to do if something comes to you and you're afraid of this. Just happened like 2 nights ago. I had like this devilish being that came to me, and he was like, you know,
Right.
and he was like shaping and forming in front of me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, is that a devil, or like, what is that thing?
Right.
And he was like wanting to possess me. He wanted to come into my body.
Right.
And I just looked at him and I went,
Right.
and I covered my face and I started laughing, and he just looked at me like, no way, there's no way. She just laughed.
Doesn't
And so
have
he
any power
starts
over you.
trying to do all this stuff. And I just kept laughing and laughing. At some points I was a little bit scared because he wasn't kind of backing off. And he kept trying, and I was just like, why isn't he leaving? So then I laughed harder. You know, laugh therapy before bed, laughing 5 minutes before bed is such a great
Oh, I like
prerequisite
that.
for this.
That's
because,
great.
you know, I just kept laughing and laughing. I was insisting until he finally just took off.
Yeah, he couldn't go anywhere with you,
But
right?
if I wouldn't have gotten to the level of healing that I'm at, this is
Mm-hmm.
key. You have to heal so that you're not afraid of things. Because the
Yes.
less fear that you have, the more you're going to be in your power, and the more you can tell these types of things off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people, you were asking the question about who comes to me and tells me this information. I'm open to any being that's benevolent and kind and loving and wants people to succeed and be happy in their lives. That's
Right.
what I leave it open to, and it could be any being at all. It's their spirit guides, mine, all of it. But
Yeah.
some people will say, well, don't you invite any evil spirits, or aren't you afraid that something's giving you misinformation? If I don't believe that's possible, if I believe my space is of pure God source energy, and I believe that only those spirits that are around me are the ones that are the most beneficial, then that's just not going to happen. And I haven't had that experience.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but
So
they do that in your sleep, and they do, you know, for people less sensitive, they might be able to do that.
I'm going to bring this up too for the folks watching right now too, is that, you know, from a very young age, and some of you out there may have experienced the same thing, or maybe your kids might be tuning into this too, but I was scared to death when I was younger. It happened a lot. So I'd have people in my room with me. I had an older woman in a rocking chair. I've had a lot of folks just coming in to see me at different times. Good, bad, or ugly, I had a lot of visitors when I was younger, and I didn't know how to deal with that. It was really scary when I was younger, because I would start with vibing, which I'm kind of doing right now, but you can see that.
You should see these chills.
So this is part of what I've learned how to do from a young age, was vibe, because I always vibe when I know something's real or happening in a situation. I vibe before things start happening as well. Before I start seeing and hearing things, I would start vibing. But it's also a protection thing, because even though the things that were coming in were either good or neutral or whatever, to me as a young person in this body, I didn't know how to comprehend what was happening yet. And so it was scary. So I would literally have enough courage to like flip on the light and then like cover my head and sit there shaking until morning, because who are these people? Why are they here? And it scared the heck out of me. But as I got older, I really learned that, you know, it was really a blessing what was happening. It really was, and I wish I could have known that and tuned into that. And that's really part of my message, too, that I want to get across, is we need to work with the younger folks. You know, and the people that are feeling this, we need to let them know it's okay, but also let them know how to deal with these type of things when it's happening. What I say is, like, when I vibe, and I can't stop right now, but when I vibe, I am able to do a couple different things. First, tune in a little bit more, but also you can use it as a defensive tool. And not saying that you need a defensive tool in the spirit world, as long as, you know, again, with her healing and she understands how to deal with it. But at a young age, I learned how to develop this defensive mechanism. And so not only can I vibe, but I can grow. I can become very, very big. I can take up a whole room if I need to, and I can push out anything around me.
Wow,
so
that's so great.
It's when you have those moments that you can't, like the spirit that came and visited you the other night. So that's my way of doing it, is I push them out, and I push them out with being strong. Now also...
something just jumped in my head. So
yes,
this is how it works. This is why you clarify sometimes too. Mm-hmm. So these things, because you said that scary thing that came to me the other night, sometimes it's not been so scary. It's been a pretty beautiful body.
Okay.
You know, somebody super
With bad
sexy.
intentions, or
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
So and it is that way in real life too. It's like the devil's not always going to look like this creepy creature that came to me the other night.
Right.
It could just
You
be
know-
like what gives you doubt, or what gives you insecurity, or what makes you judge somebody.
Right. I've had years of not seeing things at a time, and it was because I was so focused into career and this and that, and like I learned to push out everything, and that's bad too, because you want to be able to see what's around you. We're all here to have a human experience, but why do we have this if not to explore it, right?
Yeah.
It's in front of us, it's given to us. We obviously have the other side coming to us and saying, hey, check this out, or hey, I'm going to give you this feeling. You've got to explore that. That's just part of it.
I honestly feel like this is our innate ability. I think that all of us can do this, unless you're not human, I suppose. But there are some non-humans, but
Right, absolutely. Well, you know, I learned this at a young age too, is you can't live in both worlds at the same time all the time.
I should say too, even if you guys aren't aware of what's happening, that communication is happening, it's happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fool yourself.
Right.
When you remember where your keys are, guess who told you where those were?
Right. Oh, I love
You know,
that.
or when something dawns on you, or you have some kind of an epiphany, guess where that came from?
Right.
You know, we're working with spirits all the time. We're just not aware of it. We're not paying attention because we're not self-aware enough.
Right.
So the more self-aware you are working with God all the time. You are working, there's no way that you could possibly live in a world where you're not being influenced by spirit. It's just impossible, because everything is energy.
Absolutely.
So why not be tuned into it and use it as a tool? Why not purposely talk to God all the time and ask questions and get answers through synchronicities? It's just a fun, magical
So
experience.
part of this too, in my mind, is being empathic, right? So you can tune in, you could also feel other people around you. In high school, I had a hard time with that because I could feel the unfocused energy, kind of like a shaking motion throughout my high school and that sort of thing. Even when I was alone, I could just feel this, and it was overwhelming. And so, absolutely, you got to live with it and learn how to tune into it. But I think there is also those times where it becomes too much, you know, where it's nonstop, and you also have to live in this physical body. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to work, you have to go to school, you have to do all of these things. And so that's where I have a hard time. Now, on the other point of that too, in business, so you come from the corporate world, I come from the corporate world. I use this in the corporate world all the time. When it comes to sales, because you can feel that other person, you can kind of see where they're at. So you know kind of what avenues to go down, maybe when you're pushing too hard,
Right.
you know, you can back off a little bit. You really can get in tune to use this to your advantage in business, and I don't see that as a bad thing. You know, I think it's you using your gifts to work in whatever your business may be.
I think that's an awesome idea, and you're totally right.
Yeah.
This person, I've even, I was on a date one time, and so this guy's across from me, and he's charming me and really playing it, you know, just really putting it out there. And all of a sudden, he's eating his food, and I see the word player written over his head, like over his face, like player.
No. Listen to that, ladies. Listen to that.
I actually saw the word in cursive.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's one example. Or you might be talking to someone, and while they're talking, you might see red all around them, and you're like, ooh, they're angry. I think I'm going to back away.
Right.
So you can use it for your protection. You can use it for anything.
I love how in
just
tune
gather
you are
more
to see
information.
that. I think that's so cool. Because, like,
It
I
helps you
don't
have
see
compassion,
that.
though, too, because you might feel like, oh, they're just sad behind what they're saying right now. Like, so I can have compassion. And you reach out. If you think about it, okay, we're all going into, this is really woo-woo, but we're all going into the 5D earth. We're all going into this new earth energy. So we have to go through these dimensions. And as we go higher, then we are becoming more telepathic. So that's just like, our world is going to, you're not going to be able to lie or get away with anything in the future. It will all be, will all be out there for everyone to see, only because everyone's going to be able to tune right into you. So you may as well learn to get honest now.
Right.
Because everyone's going to be telepathic in the future.
Absolutely. And I've heard of that before, and I don't know all the right words for it. So I've kind of avoided a lot of the mainstream of what spirituality is, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to focus on a lot of my the things that have come to me when I was younger, and I wanted to portray those as a very raw, innocent thing. When I'm in the middle of writing my book right now, and I want them to come across as untouched kind of thing. Like, this was the rawest version of what I saw and what I felt. But there is so much neat things out there. My mom sends me videos all the time. And when I'm focusing on my book, I'm like, I can't right now. it's too much information. I don't want to skew what I have. You know what I mean? I don't want to put some of that different, exactly, earmuffs, right? So, but yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. Wow, okay. So, I was going to start with the tarot card reading, but I love this. This is great. Getting right into talks. One of the things, too, I was watching some of your videos, and something that hit me is that you've got a great gift. You've got a fantastic gift. How do you feel sometimes, though, when a lot of the folks that are coming to you is just really mundane, earthly, low vibration problems? Hey, somebody might be coming after my boyfriend, what do you think, or this or that. I mean, like, you've got so many neat things that are coming to you. Does that ever get old, or does it kind of like, hey, let's focus on something bigger?
Everybody's so different. Everybody is so different. So I just ask Spirit, like if I don't like someone, I've had that happen to where I'm just like, if I knew you out on the street, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with you. But what I do is I actually picture a cutout of a heart, like a piece of paper with a heart cutout, and I place it over them, and then it just reminds me, love them as they are.
Sweet.
And then I'll even ask Spirit, like they came to me for a reason. So how can I help them where they are? Mm-hmm. So then I might even, if they are really stressed and struggling and whatnot, and Spirit kind of remind them of when you went through that. Remind them of this. Show them this. So I share a lot of stories, or I share a lot of tools on how to retrain your brain. Like I often refer to Byron Katie. There's another exercise I love called Thank You, God, for My Misery. And it's where you write at the top of a piece of paper, thank you, God, that I don't have enough money or something like that. And then you list 10 to 15 advantages or benefits as to why that's a perfect thing for you right now.
I really like that.
And things like that. So it's like I do try. I have had to like stop someone. Like I'm pretty darn straightforward, very direct. So if somebody is just going, I'll say, you shouldn't reinforce that story of all the pain that you're going through. You got to let that go. Quit replaying that story. And they'll just keep going on and on. But I have all this proof, and I have all these pictures, and they'll just go on and on and on. And I'll say, stop. Right. If you want that to continue, then go ahead and keep talking about it. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. You need to become self-aware of the things that you're saying and the things that you're thinking out loud, because you're creating more of it. So just stop. And then they'll go, oh. Sometimes they have to be told that way, and then they go, oh my gosh, and then they can do something about it.
So they're causing a lot of the grief in their life is just overthinking it and putting themselves in that same circle. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things too that I like to keep in mind is we're here to have a human experience, right? So I say that at the end of all my videos now. We're here to have a human experience, don't forget to have fun. But I like to pick on Spirit a little bit too. And the reason being is just because my experiences as a child, with a lot of things that came into my room, and just the knowledge of how to deal with that, they gave me a really hard time. Not on purpose, but I do like to pick on Spirit. So I think it's good to have a sense of humor in this as well. So,
humor is key.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, so key.
To everything in life.
I had an experience too, and I write about this in my book, but it talked about one of the voices that came to me, and it was talking in Latin. And I had no idea what it meant, so I had to kind of, after I clicked out of it, I had to go and research it and see what it was. But they were making fun of human beings pooping. So I know it sounds weird, but they call it a Sicilian potato, is what they said in Latin, which is a singular potato, is what that means.
A singular potato.
And totally ridiculous. But I laughed so hard because the feeling when they were talking to me was humorous, and they were kind of just making fun of being in this human state.
Oh, it's so funny.
And so I loved it. So there's a humor, I think, on both sides as well, which is great. So I think we always got to remember that too. Is have fun with it,
that's so funny that you say that, because, this is really funny. Oh my gosh, you guys. One way that I knew my true love was my true love is he has a playlist, and I was listening to it, and I was actually going number 2 in the bathroom when I heard a song come on about pooing. I kid you not.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity. Just confirmed it for me again.
So you gotta have fun.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Life can be this way. Just totally,
right.
Why do we have to be so edited, and why do we have to be so, like...
Absolutely.
politically correct. And
You gotta have fun.
like,
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
it's time to be a kid again. As an adult, you gotta be a kid. You really do.
I think that's a big part of it too. Like, I'm getting older. I've been so in this business world, just like where you came from. I'm losing my hair, and like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just turned 40 here in August. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm 40. What happened to my 30s? I have no idea. I
Just flew
worked
by.
myself into this rut, and I'm like, okay, I forgot how to have fun. I just, that's my goal, is figure out how to have fun and make that part of my job.
Exactly.
So.
Yes. That's
the
a
goal.
great goal. That's a great goal. That's
So-
awesome. I love it.
Right on. Well, if you're
Yeah.
ready, so
Okay.
we're going to get into the tarot card reading now. So again, Amy knows her stuff. I'm excited. So we're going to learn a little bit more and just kind of watch her, and no pressure, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's what I like to do. Oh no. Are you in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Okay. I'll be easy on you.
Please.
Yeah, I like to do relationship spreads. So I take
Sure.
a look at, I was in 4-H as a kid. So I made a spread, head, heart, hands, heart, or head, heart, hands, health. It was supposed to be health.
Okay.
But I turned it into future, I think. So anyway, it's my own little thing that I do. I'll explain as I go here.
Triple H and an
Okay,
F. All right.
so with the tarot, it's there's like a little character that represents certain things. Every single one of them means something different. This is the magician, for example. You can't see that very well, but the magician's about creating something, manifesting something, using all the tools you can for whatever it is you're trying to do, right? Like having a lot of tools in your kit and knowing you're empowered to actually make something happen or to manifest something for real. So, so there's each of these characters, and they're kind of like as you go on and you learn how to use this all the time, then it starts to become like a language or like an alphabet. So what I do is I say like head. So we're gonna do head, heart, hands, which is actions, right? Overall energy, and then future energy. And then what I do is just pull a clarifier for all of it.
Hmm.
And then I describe what the cards tell me. And it is accurate. And so my specialty is celebrities and true love. And with true love, the other person for a while, well, if it's like a twin flame or soul flame or something like that, they often hide their feelings from you. So we have to look at cards to see what they really feel and what they really think for a while until we're actually able to talk to them. If you have a soulmate, that's a totally different thing. A soulmate, it's just really easy. Nothing goes wrong. It's really comfortable. That's the person that you meet at 16 years old and you're with them for the rest of your life kind of thing. So there's different types of true love. But anyway, so this is common. And there we go. All right.
What great cards. What kind of deck is this?
Now, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
I'll give you the name of it to put in the description of the video.
Absolutely.
Okay. So she is maturing. This is the Queen of Cups, so she is actually becoming more of a queen. She's becoming more emotionally mature. She's focused on being that way for you because she wants a happy family. And this is the Ten of Cups, so she wants to be like that with you. She wants to be cuddly and maybe have kids. I don't know if you guys have had kids or not, but she's focused on family. Oh, 2 kids on the card too.
Right.
And her marriage is a priority for her. I mean, she could be sensing us right now. This is the High Priestess. Mm-hmm. She could be feeling like we're doing this right now. So it's like she is wanting to. She's focused on family. She's focused on her marriage. I would say she's really happy with being with you. So
That's good.
yeah, in her headspace, she feels like she's got the Midas touch and she can make anything happen. She's feeling grounded. She's feeling mature. She's feeling like she's about commitment. She's also about like she really wants to make you some kind of an offer in the physical. Somehow, maybe she's thinking of an opportunity she could have with you. I don't know what the opportunity would be. It could be maybe to go a little deeper with you. Maybe to because she's got Judgment and the Fool in her heart. So it's possible she feels like she's judging herself, or maybe she's making a judgment call to just dive deeper into this pool here. Like she really wants to she's like, okay, we've gotten to a certain level of security and comfort. Now I want to dive deeper and get even closer and like lift my spirit and feel like inspired. And so she probably wants to be involved in maybe even a business opportunity, maybe what you're doing. Maybe she's got some ideas going on right now on things. She's having some kind of an epiphany. And she wants to share that heartfelt expression with you. Like, hey, guess what? I have this great idea. Why don't we go to like a haunted ghost town and we can, something like that. It's possible. So in her overall energy, she is really feeling action. She's feeling action-oriented and passionate about wanting to be an equal to you. So maybe that's why she's thinking this. She's like, well, I want to really keep our bond going. I want to keep strong. So I want to do a project with him together so that we can have that reciprocation, so we can be on the same level, because it's possible that maybe she feels like you're either above her or she's beneath you a little bit sometimes, or maybe she's just not included. So she really is wanting to have some kind of inspiration, bring you guys even closer. So in the future, it's like she doesn't want to ignore an opportunity to be even closer to you. So it's like here she is believing that you're her true love. She's feeling very close and connected to you in the future, but yet she feels like if she doesn't overlook an opportunity, she's going to miss out on it. So there's something that she feels like she's got to tell you that's coming from the heart, that's going to the next level. And over here, as a side note, she's trying to figure out, with the Seven of Cups and the Four of Wands, she's trying to figure out the best possible way from the heart to go forward into the next level of stability and happiness and community and belonging.
Wow.
So I'd say she's a happy woman that just wants to go deeper with you.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah. So looking at, if I were to like, okay, yeah, tell me any question you have about that. And then I'll do like a scan on your system and see what I pick up there too.
I love your reading. So when we get into the idea, is tarot card real? And not to step away too far from what we're doing, because this is great. There's so much that you can get from this. And really what I see when we get into tarot cards is it's a tool. Every religion, everyone has a way to get them to where they need to be, is how I perceive tarot cards. But I also see it where, in the Christian faith or the Catholic faith, where they have the swinging smoke pots, or some have water, and they're using these tools to get that emotion in people, or get a point across, or it's their way of conveying something is using a tool. Mm-hmm. I take it that the tarot cards are, again, there's some neat things here, guys, and I think that there is a lot that happens when you choose your cards. I make a little parody video, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, about tarot card readers when it comes to choosing cards, because sometimes it's a little silly, but I really believe that there is something there. You're pulling it, but also you can take a lot of different things from the cards. I think each card has its own meaning, per the deck designer. It has its meaning, but there's so much more to look into.
The artwork of it, for example.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the little flying pig here on this one.
Like when pigs fly.
The king of
Wands. Right.
The little lion in the background. Like, there's so much more that you can pull from. So I think, again, that we are getting in tune with each other to a point, and maybe her higher self is picking out the things that she needs to see. So that's how I'm perceiving this.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
And here's the thing. Some people can be so particular. You got to cleanse the deck. You got to clear the deck. You've got to shuffle it many, many times. Everyone's got their system, and everything's a placebo. So if that works for you, great. But I like to even randomly pick stuff up. So what is his advice right now with his wife? The Knight of Pentacles is to go slowly, but actually to come out of more of a stagnant state, because see how that card is? Usually the Knight of Pentacles is about actually taking tangible action, but going forward slowly. But in this particular Knight of Pentacles, he is walking, and so is the horse. And if there's action in the cards, it actually means you're coming out of the stagnant state and taking action. Mm-hmm. So I would say, considering all that she needs right now, that she wants to feel more involved and more like an equal, more included, that you might need to actually take some action steps to make that happen.
Okay.
So you might actually have to sit down and have a conversation with her and ask her, would you like to be involved in my business? Would you like to do more with me? Would you like to travel more, or whatever? Mm-hmm. And then Ace of Cups would be a clarifier for that. So Ace of Cups is all about loving yourself more, and it's about being able to express that love then to another person, because your cup is so full. So go to her from this space of loving yourself enough to like, maybe you feel like she would be better at you than at your job, or maybe you feel like there could be something there where you're not loving yourself. So you need to love yourself enough to get out of whatever the insecurity is that's holding you back from listening to her, and just like express from the heart, and just be willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable for that happy family.
That's fantastic.
Reciprocate those feelings and show her that you really do want the both of you to be happy in your own unique way. So, and I'll be on the phone with somebody and I'll just pick something. I'll say, you're thinking too much. You really need to express your love.
Right.
So I just play with it, and Spirit will use the cards like that. If you think about it, on this side of the deck, all the cards look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So since Spirit's capable of anything, why wouldn't they just put the right image on the other side of that card that I need to see? Why can't it be? Why can't you have like, gosh, anything is possible. I could pick up any. So this isn't by chance that this image was on the other side of that card. I couldn't tell what was there because they all look the same, but this image happens to be there. But that could have very well been another image. If Spirit's capable of anything, it's limitless.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you have to have a particular? So that's people thinking too 3D. They're thinking too third dimension. They're not. Their minds aren't open enough to realize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, what I do love about this too, I think there's a lot of different ways to look at tarot card reading too, and I guess it comes from your background and what maybe you were taught, if you were really religious growing up or something like that too, is that you look at it in a negative thing. And I think that that's not the best way to do it. I think it's always great to keep an open mind, to at least look at things, and you could always keep your own thoughts, but just watch and see. There's nothing that can hurt you when it comes to tarot card reading. And what I see too is it makes people feel better, and people need that in their life. So some people go to counseling, some people go to church, some people talk to friends. I think it's just another avenue to sometimes feel a little bit more enlightened, make you feel better about your situation that you have going on in your life. And sometimes there's things that resonate, sometimes there's not, but take those little things that do mean something to you. What I see too, and a lot of online tarot card reading, because they're talking to a really broad, big audience, it's a message that goes out because there's an energy that I feel that's going on for that particular sign or whatever it may be. So they're giving a very broad reading to say, Leo, Sagittarius, whatever. They're giving their particular reading. And, I can take something out of that, and so can a million other people that's very specific to their situation. And so it's just that little bit of energy, I think, that they're tapping into that makes a big difference to you personally. So I'd always say take what you can from it, because there is something special there, at least to me.
Well, let me do something for your audience too.
Sure. And
if you think about it, this is God's way of answering you. So if you're studying the Bible, which I used to be a Bible talk leader, if you have a question of God, then why not, read the Bible as you're reading it. You're saying, like, God, I don't understand this passage. What do you mean by this particular scripture? Like, what should I take from this? Take any tool at all. You could even open up an encyclopedia to a page and point to it, and you can try to make that connection between, that word or that sentence in regards to the answer. Because Spirit or God wants to talk to you through anything and everything around you. This just makes it simpler and easier to do that. That's all. It's just a tool. So I want you guys to think of a question right now. Anything you want. Just think about it for a minute, and I'm going to shuffle these cards, not that they need it, but just, think about it for a moment. Everything's a placebo, right? So we got to make it look like we're mixing these cards up. There we go. So these cards just kind of flipped out by themselves, right? So the answer to your question is that you might need to work really, really hard and diligently to lay down this burden of either being hiding something from yourself. You got to listen to your intuition. Maybe you need to start working on your intuition. But something has been really burdening you that you need to just lay down. You just need to get to the bottom of it, and don't, some secrets may need to come to light, because you have the High Priestess, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands. Is that Wands? Yeah. So the 10 of Wands is all about setting down a burden. So it's like, don't be burdened with this. It's too much, admit that you need the help. Eight of coins may or may not need the help, but it may be from spirit, because this is the high priestess card. Like, ask for help from spirit. It's actually confirming the cards. Ask for help from spirit with the high priestess and the 10 of wands to lay that burden down. And then 8 of pentacles is maybe regarding work, or maybe regarding a work project, or maybe it just means that you need to put the work in to lay the burden down and come. And this is about coming out of hiding. High priestess it's about intuition, coming out of hiding. It's about, secrets coming to light, perhaps. Maybe you have a secret that you really need to let out. Maybe it's in regards to work. There's so many different things, but hopefully that helped you make a decision to walk away from things that are toxic and go towards your true love, if you know who that is. Make decisions that are beneficial to you and start going towards that sun rising in the distance. So go toward that better future. Have the strength to go toward that better future. The strength card at the bottom.
And what I love about this too is I think deep down we all know, or our higher self, however you would like to say that, we know which direction we need to go. I think that we fight it as people. I know I do. You even know what the right thing is to do, but sometimes you create excuses for yourself, or there's that unknown that's more scary than what you're dealing with right now. Even though that unknown may be a more powerful, better thing for you, you are consumed with what you understand right now, so you just fight going the direction you should go. And so I think sometimes too, and this is what I get out of my research with tarot card reading.
What ifs.
Well, not only that, but it tells me what I need to hear. It gives me that confirmation that I know that I need to go that direction. Everything's telling me I need to go that direction. Sometimes just hearing somebody say it and then point it out to me on a picture is enough for my human brain to go, oh, okay. So
I need to get off my butt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually do this.
So that's where I think it's hearing the right thing at the right time. So I think, again, also, if you see this video later on and you just saw her reading right there to you guys, that might mean something to you. Even if this is a year from now, you might pick something out of that you're like, you know what, that was meant for me. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move forward in that direction. So I like it. I think it's a good thing.
And then what'll happen is you'll have that epiphany. Oh my gosh, I really need to make a move on this. And you'll be going down the road and you'll see a moving van. Or you'll see like a big poster, go for it. And then you see another thing, and yet you still don't make a move.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm guilty of that. Yes.
So, but what I found is that whatever spirit is telling you, when you actually take action on it, it just flows so smooth. Have you seen that? Things just start rolling out, and everything is just, and you're like, why didn't I do this sooner? This was so easy and so much better than I thought.
Absolutely. I think that we are guided a certain direction. We're guiding ourselves. I think we know before we come here where we're supposed to go and where we're supposed to be, but we get so stuck sometimes. And so even though we're fighting and everything's fighting for you to move a certain direction, it's the confirmation. So
just laugh at those devils.
There you go.
Laugh at the what ifs.
Absolutely.
Laugh at all the scary things that come to your mind, and don't let your mind is the devil's playground. The devil's playground is like all the doubt and the insecurities and the fears.
Right.
So if you can just laugh at that and just take action anyway, everyone feels fear, everyone feels insecure, everyone feels uncomfortable. When I started this job, I was scared to death. I was shaking in my boots, and I was like, people are going to come sit in front of me and ask me for answers. That was very intimidating and scary, but, I finally did it. I mean, I was, you got to just fear whatever it is you judge or fear, you just got to do that thing. Right. And then see what happens.
Live life
and it'll be so much better than you're anticipating. If you were seeing all the signs and synchronicities and things, then you are definitely being led to something that's going to be very beneficial to you. I was in Texas. Mm-hmm. I was in Texas. My business was flourishing. I was doing great. I was doing psychic fairs and becoming popular, making a name for myself. And I was working in a clinic. All kinds of great things. And I had my own apartment right downtown Granbury, Texas, cutest little town ever. And everything was perfect. I thought my life is just so awesomely perfect. And then all of a sudden I felt I was getting all these synchronicities and signs that were like, go to Boulder. And I knew nothing about Boulder and had never even researched. I didn't know what it looked like. I knew there were mountains. And without even doing all that research or anything, I was like, okay, I gave notice on my apartment. And I told all my friends I'm leaving, and they all thought I was crazy, and they all thought I'd met somebody, and I hadn't. And I just was getting, all the, when everything starts pointing to that thing, it's time to make a move. And so I did. And I left. I even had to get rid of my cat, which absolutely broke my heart. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to come to the snow. He didn't want to be cold.
I don't blame him. Yeah.
And I didn't want to drag him around place to place if I was going to be moving a bunch of places or anything. Right. So I found him an incredible home with a mom that just loves him to death. But anyway. Everything always works out, and so then I came here, and all of a sudden my business went to a whole other level. I started winning awards, then I got my tune-in radio show, and it's just been blossoming ever since.
That's awesome.
So, and my love life is, it's just, everything has just turned out just absolutely amazing, way beyond what I could have ever hoped for.
Because you went with the flow.
Because I went with the flow. I
awesome.
paid attention to the signs, and I wasn't afraid. I could have waited months in that apartment. I could have, then it's like the universe will turn up the volume on discomfort. Like I had a neighbor who started to have a problem with my cat jumping down, running down the hallway. My cat would act all happy and he'd run down the hallway. The guy downstairs was having a problem with my cat being happy running down the hallway. And then the cat would jump off the cat tree and he'd yell at me, and wow. that wasn't happening before all the signs and things. And so I was just like, I get it. I'm already giving notice, all right? I'm taking action to back off. But they didn't want me to change my mind or anything, going, oh, you know what, I am pretty comfortable. I gave my notice. Maybe I shouldn't have. They kept the discomfort turning up and up and up until I was like, yeah, I do want to get out of here. Because even if I do stay, I'm going to have a neighbor who's hating me and angry and all this stuff. So
right, you're getting the signs, and this is not the first time I've heard something like that too. Is if things will push you. Even though you're fighting it, things will push you eventually to the direction you need to go. So I don't think timing. I don't ever want to think that, oh my God, it's too late or something like that, because I think there is obviously divine timing, but you need to go when you're comfortable. Like when you finally get yourself to go, you're going to look back and say, why didn't I do this sooner?
Right.
And I think that's a good thing to think of too. But yeah, it's pushing you. So a couple different things. Boulder, Colorado is beautiful, guys. So if you haven't been to Boulder, check it out. The Flatiron's just gorgeous. And if people have never heard of Boulder before, I say, have you seen Mork and Mindy? And for some reason, at least the older folks are going to know what that means. And, oh, that's Boulder. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, and one more thing, too. Your radio show, when does that air? And when should people tune in to listen to you?
It's Mondays at 1:30 Mountain Time. That's 12:30 Pacific and 3:30 Eastern Time. And underneath all of my videos on YouTube, which is Amy Satori, just go to YouTube and look up Amy Satori. You'll see a pink lotus. When you get there, I have a celebrity playlist. I've got a playlist called Talks About Life. All kinds of interesting talks about there, but mostly true love readings that I put out every week and the messages from Spirit that I put out. But underneath the video, all of my videos, I've got the phone number that you can call and get a free reading any Monday that you want to. You can program it in your phone, and someday when you have a problem, just go ahead and call that number on a Monday, and I'd be happy to help you. It's a little half-hour show from 1:30 to 2. And then at 2 o'clock, I actually go live on YouTube, and I answer general questions for free. And if you have a custom question, something about your personal life, then you would donate $11 to my PayPal, which is www.paypal.me/Amy Satori. And you just put your question in the note, so that I just go right into my PayPal on the live, and I just read the question. And I do cards, or I listen to my intuition, and I answer your question live on the video. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, join me on Mondays. We call it Magic Mondays.
Very good. I'm going to put all your handles down below as well, so that people can get in touch with you, because this is awesome, and I appreciate your time today too. I do have a video I want you to watch real quick. So I told you earlier that I made fun of a little bit of the. So I'm going to grab this phone real quick here. But excuse me, I'm sorry. So I made this video. Now this is just again a parody. Again, I've been watching so many YouTube video tarot card readers because I was doing research where I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, human experience, I'm going to have fun. So I created my own parody with a lot of the stuff that I saw that was like a little overboard, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna recreate this. So I was going to show this to you. I'm going to take this off of airplane mode here. see what you think of it. And
Are you gonna show that on the video for them?
Yeah, I'm going to show your reaction. I'm hoping it's funny. I'm going to cut this up. I'm hoping it's funny. I thought I had fun with it at least. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show Amy my parody here of tarot card readings.
All right, well, welcome to Dan's Tarot. Today we're going to be going through just the energy of what's happening right now in the world. Before we get started though, I like to get started with a kind of a meditative, calm approach to what we're about to do, kind of something to clear the field a little bit. So I like to start with a little bit of a, just a cleansing vibration. So let's go ahead and start with that really quick here. Just something mellow. Okay, breathe. All right. All right. Well, I'm feeling a little bit more calm now, so let's go ahead and get started really quickly here. All right, so before we get going, I do want to bring attention to the archangels that are here with us today. Again, without them, I don't know if any of this would even be possible. So let's go ahead and go through them. So first, I would like to get started real quick with Raphael. So Raphael, Archangel Raphael, is really known for his healing powers and abilities. So we're lucky to have him with us here today again. We have so much going on in the world. We really want to put a lot of movement on Raphael's power with us today as well. Next is going to be Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, also known as Jesus in some parts as well, so just with a different name. But lucky to have him here today. He's basically the head of all the angels, so he's going to be bringing a lot of help in today to make sure that this reading goes well for everybody. Next, I would like to bring your attention to Archangel Uriel. So
That's
Archangel
Uriel?
don't assume his or her gender. It can come across either way. So sometimes he or she comes in as male, sometimes he or she comes across as female. But either way, he or she brings you what you're needing at that time. So basically the best cross-dressing archangel we have. So Uriel, thank you for being here today. Alright guys, so next we have Archangel Megatron. Megatron is here today to help us with our math skills and issues that we got going on. So Megatron has basically a floating cube that he has that helps him with his divine math problems, and really he's here today to help us with our energy. So using his floating cube, which I have represented here with our crystal that he has in his little hand there, but he's going to help us with any negative stuff that's going on so he can get that moved out. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and pull a couple cards here from our writer set, and they're pretty big, so we're going to let Spirit make the choice here.
She's like, I don't get it.
Alright, Spirit. Who should we choose? Who should we choose? Who should we choose?
I know one reader
Who
just
should we
follows
choose?
me, like always eating when she's doing her readings. I'm like, you're making me
Who
hungry.
should we choose?
Cards so big.
Okay.
It's
So,
true too, and they're too big.
is this
They're
the one?
so hard
Yep.
to shuffle.
So,
Oh my gosh.
alright. Okay. So Spirit has actually chosen a couple cards for us today.
Just
I'm going to try to get going. So the bottom, of course, is the sun, which is awesome. This really represents my Leos in the house, what's happening. So I just wanted to show that as well. All right, so Ace of Wands, which is fantastic. We have there some major arcana getting us started. We have the Two of Pentacles, and then we have the Three of Pentacles as well. So this is going to be our overall energy for the reading. Again, to start with the Ace of Wands is fantastic. Again, that's a very creative energy, very fast moving. It's full of life. As you can see, the little leaves sprouting on the wand itself. And it's a very magical thing. So it's really a thought and mind of being creative. So it's a very good card to get right off the bat. Next is the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is an interesting card, but it's being creative. It's being able to create something very neat. But again, it's still working for somebody else. So you're still being very creative for another party. Overall energy, again, is your creativeness that you're bringing to the table. I think you're still bringing this for other people right now. So maybe that's something that needs to be worked on a little bit. And then the Two of Pentacles is kind of a weighing out type of situation. Again, it's very up and down. You got your ships in the background going up and down here quite a bit. But overall, again, it's a lot of movement going on with your coin. All right, so let's go ahead and get some cards now from our other deck here. We're going to do some shuffling beforehand just to make sure that we're putting some positive energy into this. We'll do a little bit more here. But again, we really want Spirit to go ahead and choose which cards to take. So Spirit, please let me know which ones you've got. Whoa. All right, so Spirit's on fire today. They obviously wanted me to choose quite a few cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cards that did fall, and we're going to go just through them right now. Obviously, there's a lot to be said and done here. So let me get these in order. All right. Okay, Spirit. This time just choose like one or two, okay?
Good.
Got it?
It's gonna be good.
Got it? Okay. All right. Well, again, Spirit's on fire, guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he's got here. All right. So right off the bat, Prince of Wands, which again is a great energy to come, and it really reminds me a lot of the Chariot. How he's coming in on the Chariot, very fire-driven energy with the Leo driving in here with a lion, and basically just a really good energy to have. Ace of Swords, which again a major arcana. Again, that's of the mind. So it's going to be some really cool, interesting thoughts coming into your process. Again, you're being creative, but also here it shows me that you're going to be strategic as well. A lot of neat things coming, and it's heavenly. It's of the divine. If you look at the card, it almost looks like a crown around the sword, which is piercing the universe. So definitely some interesting energy there. The Magus, which is interesting. It looks like a little monkey guy holding up another gentleman. Very interesting. We also have the Heart card, the Moon card, Wealth, which is fantastic, which is the Ten of Pentacles, Knight of Swords in reverse. I'm not a very good tarot card reader, so I'm going to turn that back over and just say that's a very good positive energy. And change. Okay, so change to me is going to be a lot about like the Tower moment, where something needs to happen. Something needs to change in your life soon. So just know that that's coming on its way. All right, Spirit, give me.
That's what I'm talking about. Everything.
Okay, so Spirit's saying to take two more cards. So Spirit, go ahead.
This is just confirming everything that I said.
Which is Ruin, Ten of Swords, and here we go. And we got Failure in reverse. So I will take this one in reverse because then we'll say there was no failure, everything's good. Okay, so I think that that's our overall reading for today. I do want to pick one more card though. Just an overall ending card from our big deck here. So let's go ahead and get one of those. In Spirit, if you can go ahead and confirm that we just need one card.
Oh, I can't wait to see what
Okay, cool. There's our confirmation right there from Spirit. All right, so Spirit, is this the right one? No? Okay. So, Queen of Cups. All right, guys. So, again, we've done an excellent reading here in my mind, and I think we've got some good stuff out of today. So, I'm going to go ahead and end today again on a very solid, pristine note of calmness. We're going to do one more vibration. All right. Well, thank you guys.
That is so funny because you were
appreciate you listening. Hit subscribe, like, tell your friends.
But you totally confirmed
we're here all week.
for you.
Have a great day.
Anyway, thank you for
What are
watching
the
that
chances?
too.
What are the chances? You pulled the Magician, you pulled the Queen of Cups, you pulled like all these cards that I had pulled.
Right.
There's
something there. Come on, there's definitely something there. But thanks for watching that too.
That was a repeat message that you and your wife need to do some kind of passion project.
That was fun
That's all
to
I'm saying.
make too. Because as I was doing my research, I'm watching all these tarot card readings. So another thing I picked up on was there are some copiers out there, and just because I've watched so many, And so what I realized, it was kind of like the late 80s, early 90s in the comedy circuit, where there wasn't a lot of social media then. They didn't have cell phones, so they were copying each other's sets because it was getting in popularity, and they were able to get more clubs. So what I'm watching is yes, there's a huge energy, and a lot of the folks are following it. But also, if you watch it enough, you can kind of catch some of the folks that are watching other people's, and then they kind of make one off of that because their cards aren't matching their reading, but it's somebody else's that I heard earlier that day.
Don't do that.
And I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like, why would you do that?
Or
I don't know.
if you really look underneath that too, even if they're being a copycat, they're supposed to have done that.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I've realized that
good. I like that too. I didn't look at it that way.
Yes.
But,
Yes, because ultimately, like, no matter what is coming through, it's supposed to be coming through. So even if they are, it's just like but they may also, like, the person watching could be like, oh, you're disingenuous, I'm not going to watch you anymore, which was also meant to be.
Right.
But it was still, you were supposed to get that confirmation anyway, too. Everything is exactly as it's supposed to be.
And I've seen a few too where a tarot card reader is saying if you're not real, if you're not saying the bad stuff too, then you're not real. And I didn't like that. And the reason being is because a lot of people tune in, they already have enough bad stuff in their life that they're well aware of. And they may be tuning in for a good message. And so I don't always think that if you're not saying, hey, somebody's out to get you or something like that, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that you as your higher self have a way to look at things, and if you're wanting to spread a message that's good, then you're going to concentrate on that. If you want to put out some stuff out there that are going to get people riled up, you're going to do that. But it's up to you of what you want to watch, and that's why I really do like the amount of readers that are out there now, because there are some really good ones. But
well, and when it comes to the negative stuff, sometimes some psychics will try to say the negative stuff so that you need them.
Right. Yes.
Ooh, you have a spell on you, or ooh, someone's trying to put black magic on you, or something like that. And you go, oh, please give me a $500 candle. Give me a generational cure for $2,000. Please, and they'll give their power away, or always want to watch that person. Is it gone? Is the black magic gone? They'll watch every reading because they'll want to see.
Right.
So
yeah, that's scary.
So it goes both ways.
Clickbait too.
But,
something you have to know right now. Tune in.
Yeah,
it's like,
or you'll be in danger.
Right.
So the way that I like to read those negative cards too, like Strength, is a good example. It just happened to be sitting at the bottom of it when I pulled the deck over there. But, so Strength is like, this is a woman. She's half woman, half lion, and there's a lamb in the picture. But Strength could be this. The way that I read the cards is both definitions. So obviously, if you're not strong and you're lacking courage, then you need courage, right? And so then I look at the clarifier with it to find out, is it about that they are lacking strength and they're needing strength, which then my message wouldn't be that you're weak. My message would be that he's trying to find strength, right? But if it's a card that affirms that he's already strong, wow, he's really getting in his power, and he's really getting, I would say, in his feminine power, because there's a female, half female here, right? So you look at all the hints and clues. Clarifier would be the Lovers. So the Lovers is like making a long-term solution based on your passion, what truly makes you happy. So I would say just having those two cards without another clarifier, I would say that he is indeed tapping into his intuitive, his feminine side, and he's learning to gentle his own like ferociousness, his own fire, his own like rawr energy, and he's trying to be more gentle with himself and trying to be maybe have a more mature or intuitive or receptive approach to a decision that he's making long term for his long term future, something he feels really passionate about, right? Then you take the third card, so that is he is walking away from things that no longer serve him, things that are toxic behavior, toxic people, toxic even decisions about anything. He's basically just walking away from the devil for his true love, or for loving connections, or for more like-minded type connections. So he's going toward a brighter future. So this is his, even though the Strength could have been taken in a positive or negative light, when you use the clarifiers, you get a much better picture. So that's the way that I read the cards.
So point two said earlier, this just did that for me. So that what she just said hit me home on a few things, and so that was personal to me. There's something there I just took from that, and it was a message that I needed to hear. And so I'm assuming too that that's that's why when you say, is this real or not, I don't think that's the right question after doing this video. The real question is, what do you take from tarot card reading? And also, not only that, but you're also through this video, I'm hoping you're discovering that with me, is everything behind it. This is just, again, a way to share that message. But I got a lot from that. Really did.
Awesome.
So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This is a lot of fun.
Welcome. I think this journey is all about learning, healing, and growing, and giving you the reassurance that you need, kind of a little hand-holding from God along your path.
Well said. Well said. And I guess what we'll do, guys, is I want to find out one more thing, and that is for the folks that are just now tuning into tarot card reading for the first time, what would you tell them? Just general.
Okay, so don't, it's a learning curve having to learn all the different cards, but for a while, just know just one thing about the cards, or just look at the pictures. Some people never do learn the meanings of the cards. They just describe what the picture looks like. Mm-hmm. And then you'll just become more and more familiar as you practice. So just practice. When I first came on my channel, I was really scared to talk about everything because you think you're supposed to appear a certain way.
Right.
And then what I realized is I'm just going to be goofy and silly and just be myself and not care. And that totally worked out. And then you attract your own tribe that's like-minded, and they like your silliness and goofiness and whatever else. So just go with what you know. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, put yourself out there. You'll get better. You'll get in. Even what even comes out with whatever you pick up on in the pictures of the cards will be helpful. You could explain at the beginning, I'm only beginning with tarot, but this is what I'm picking up on. This is what I feel. This is what I see in the picture. Maybe that'll help you. Maybe it won't. And then everybody will say in the comments, that was incredible, that totally resonated. And you'll be like, what? Really? And then you'll build confidence that way. So just put yourself out there. Don't expect yourself to be some kind of professional or perfect at it before you can't be all polished and perfect before you go out and do it. You're a work in progress, and just keep practicing and practice with everybody you possibly can. And when you get intuitive information, when you're around people, share it with them and see what they think. You know what I mean? Just build your confidence and start to realize too that whatever comes to you intuitively, it came to you for a reason. So even when somebody just sits there with their arms crossed, they've come for a reading and they sit in front of me, they're like, no, that's not true at all. And they do that, and I'm just like, well, I'm being shown that for a reason, So it's like, it's not even on you. It's on, Spirit showed me. Do with it what you will. You can be stubborn and not do anything, or you could walk away from it, which you probably will, and think about it and how it does pertain. So, have confidence in yourself and the messages that are coming through. Don't doubt yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amy, you are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here today. Guys, I can't say enough great things about Amy and what she did for us today as well, and her work. Check her out. I'm going to have all of her handles listed below. Spiritually Coming Out of the Closet. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Just remember, guys, that we're here to have a human experience, so don't forget to have fun. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.